Dikembe Mutombo.
Rudy Gobert.
Dikembe Mutombo.
Rudy Gobert.
Dikembe Mutombo.
Blocking game clock. That's a good shot was blocked by Mutombo. The fans want to go in. Blocked again by Mutombo. And the Rockets come up with
Rudy Gobert. I mean, that is meeting someone.
Dikembe Mutombo has 4 blocks in the game.
On this episode of NBA Now and Then, the greatest comparisons, we compare two towering defensive anchors from their respective eras.
In today's game, this shot blocker breaks the stereotype that international players are not good defenders.
Their games impactful at the rim.
In the 90s, the play usually didn't end well for an opponent if this player wagged his finger.
As they patrolled the paint with purpose.
Guarding the rim defined their role and helped their teams make deep playoff runs.
We are eager to present to you Rudy Gobert and Dikembe Mutombo. I'm Uriah.
I'm Maurice.
I'm Lucas.
And I'm Ben.
And we're here to talk NBA
Now and Then.
Before we jump into our comparison, let's clarify our goal. I think for quite a few episodes, it's always been like, who's the most similar to this player from then to now? This time, I think we can actually try to determine who had the better career. So both players had over 10 years of experience, and I think we have a nice sample size to work with to see who was or is the better player. So let's begin with our overview. Lucas, why are we comparing Rudy Gobert to Dikembe Mutombo right now?
Because they are on a very short list of defensive international stars. There aren't that many, and these two are arguably at the top.
Definitely. Obviously, Rudy Gobert from France and Dikembe from the Republic of Congo. How about you, Ben? Why are we comparing these players?
Two of the greatest rebounders of all time. Very underrated rebounders, I think, because of their defense. People think like, oh, they forget that these guys led the league in rebounding many times.
Oh, yeah, they were monsters on the glass, definitely. And what about you, Maurice?
Well, you're going to get into the biography with both players and their nicknames, but when they both have nicknames that represent their prowess on the shot blocking end, that tells you something right there. Both of them are huge intimidators at the rim. When you could change the offensive game plan just by you being there and alterate everything that happens at the rim, that's a weapon in itself.
Yeah, the intimidation factor. And the one thing that I found interesting that I completely forgot about with this comparison is if you just start with how they were drafted or where they were drafted to, they were both drafted by the same franchise. Did you guys know that?
I did not.
Yes, I did know that. Yeah.
Yeah, they were both drafted by Denver, Lucas.
That's right. Because
when was Gobert drafted?
2013.
Yeah.
And then Jokic was drafted in 2014. So can you imagine?
Whoa, that's a different type of twin tower.
Think about that. Oh my goodness. Jokic at the 4 with Gobert playing the 5.
Well, interesting fact. The Nuggets did try Jokic at the 4 because they had Yusuf Nurkic as their starting center before Jokic, which I think
that was way back.
Nurkic
in the day, right?
was drafted the year before Jokic.
Mm-hmm.
So in the first round, so they tried to make that work, but it didn't.
Jokic was in the 2014 draft, right?
Yeah, and I think Nurkic was either 2012 or 2013.
All right, well, let's get to it.
First quarter. Background.
All right, speaking of nicknames, Maurice, it's time to talk about the Stifle Tower, a.k.a. the French Rejection, a.k.a. the Gobert Report, a.k.a. Gobzilla.
I like that one.
You like that? I'm not a big fan of that one. Yeah, I'm not a fan. The other ones are tight. I like the other ones. So Gobzilla. But before he got those nicknames, he was born Rudy Gobert on Friday, June 26, 1992, in Saint-Quentin, France, which is a city north of Paris. So a good amount of my segment comes from a Players Tribune article that Gobert wrote himself. So let's start with his upbringing. First off, Rudy Gobert's dad actually played basketball for the French national team in the 80s and in the 90s. No wonder he had the heightened skills that he has, right? So in this article, he mentioned his dad just one time, but he went on and on about how special his mom was to him or is to him while growing up. He emphasized how hard she worked, holding down multiple jobs to raise him and his two siblings. Gobert described the apartment that he grew up in as similar to the housing projects in American inner cities. Let's start with our first trivia question. Who can name a sport that Gobert played before basketball? Let's go with Ben first. Give me any sport.
I go with a pretty obvious one, volleyball.
All right, Lucas?
He's French, so I'm going to take a page out of Joakim Noah's book, and I'm going to say tennis.
All right. And Maurice?
I'm going to go left, and I'm going to say swimming.
Okay. Well, let me give this to you guys.
Oh. Let me guess, it was soccer, wasn't it?
Wait, everyone else is guaranteed someone always mentions volleyball. And I think 70% of the time it's wrong. And then swimming. Who said swimming?
Maurice.
I did.
Okay. Well, funny enough, Tim Duncan was a big swimmer.
Yes, he was.
I know we're not talking about him. All right, the correct answer was Rudy Gobert, before he played basketball, participated in karate, track and field, and he was boxing at a young age.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think any of us would have guessed that. Nah.
Boxing.
I wouldn't have guessed it either. I would have said tennis too, Lucas, so don't feel bad.
I mean, yeah.
Imagine a 7'4" guy in a boxing ring. That would have been scary.
Yeah, that would be very scary.
Noah.
There's some tall boxers though, right? There's been, not that tall, but
Yeah.
I can't. I think Lennox Lewis was what, 6'8", something like that.
Yeah, that's like the tallest.
Tyson Fury's like 6'9", 6'10".
Yeah.
Wonder if Mike Tyson
how tall
can
is
beat
Jake Paul? Or is it Logan Paul? Who's fighting Tyson?
I don't know. I want Tyson.
Nah, they're like maybe 6'4".
His ego's big.
It actually makes sense because when Gobert's in a lot of fights and he's like ready to throw down, so that kind of makes sense. Yeah, he's always like ready.
But hold up, if he was in karate, then how did he get the chokehold dropped on him though?
Well, if someone comes up behind you, then
wasn't that Draymond though?
Karate.
It was
Draymond.
Yeah, but Draymond's like the best in the league at just like I don't know.
No, that's not true. There's a man by the names of James Johnson on the Pacers that you do not want to mess with.
James Johnson. Okay.
Oh, former Heat.
Yeah, former Heat guy.
I've seen.
Black
He's got the
belt.
tattoos on his face, right? Yeah.
But not the face, the neck though. Yeah.
The neck, yeah. All right, let's get back to Gobert. So by age 12, he started getting really good at hoops, and by 15, Gobert actually transferred boarding schools because the new school had a stronger basketball program. And as a teen, Gobert played for the Cholet Junior team. Now, obviously, Gobert did not play in the AAU because he wasn't in the United States, and he didn't even attend college. So you guys want to hear his international stats?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, cool. So from 2010 to 2012, Rudy Gobert played 27 games in the U20 Division A EuroLeague. He averaged 7.5 points, 7 boards, and 0.7 assists. Then in the 2012-2013 season, while playing for the French Pro League A team, Gobert averaged 8 points, 5 rebounds, and close to 2 blocks. Over, under. I'll go to Maurice first. Field goal percentage that season when Gobert played for the pros for the first time. Over, under 74%.
His field goal percentage is always really high. I'm going to go over.
Lucas?
I'm going to side with Maurice on this one.
All right. And Ben?
Over.
Okay. You guys are on fire today.
Wow. Wow.
He actually had me with that one, too. I was like, yes, I got it.
That was a tricky one. I thought Lucas might have sniffed that one out. He actually shot 72% that year. Still really good, Maurice.
Still good, yes.
Yeah, but 74%, that's like, whew. All right. Then when he was ready, he entered his name into the 2013 NBA draft, where he was selected in the first round by the Denver Nuggets.
With the 27th pick in the 2013 NBA Draft, the Denver Nuggets select Rudy Gobert from Saint-Coutin, France. He last played for Cholet in the French League. And Rudy and his sizable contingent are in the building.
So Rudy Gobert is the 5th true international player to be selected in this first round. And by that, we mean a guy who comes into the NBA straight from the international game. Tell us about the big fella, Fran.
Well, first of all...
Okay, now's your time to chime in on Gobert's background. So let's go with Lucas first. What stands out to you about what you learned just now about Rudy growing up?
It's interesting that first off, he was a multifaceted athlete, and it explains why he was able to make an instant impact defensively once he got into the NBA, because he did play international.
All right. Ben, what about you?
We have so many international players now, so this dude kind of like, it's interesting hearing how long he's been in the league. For me, it's just like how this last decade, the scouting of international, they're able to scout really, really well. Because you said 7-7, but like I feel like the international scouts are so much better now.
Yeah.
And I think that's what stands out, because you hear those numbers, but they just know now, like who's gonna. There's obviously like the Frank Ntilikina's, but typically they hit on these international guys. And I think with Gobert, obviously it started with Nowitzki, but the Gobert was kind of the new wave of them having a very high percentage chance of like hitting on these Euros and African guys.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the scouting over the past 10, 20 years has really escalated because thank goodness for the Dream Team, 1992. David Stern knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing. And now we've seen that vision come to fruition. Maurice, what stands out to you about Gobert's upbringing?
Well, we see this a lot now, piggybacking what Ben was saying. You see this a lot now with international players where they're getting more and better experience in the international game. They're playing with grown men. Mm-hmm. In a lot of cases with American players, college or G League, they're playing with younger players around their age. And when you have that experience, and a prime example is Luka, different skill sets. But when you've been playing with grown men in international game, which some might say is a tougher type of game in international leagues, you have that experience, you're going to come into the NBA ready to roll. And especially for Rudy in his type of game, which is defending, you know, there was really no reason for him to not be an impact player year one.
Yeah, absolutely. The experience, the impact that he can have based on playing overseas, and then the scouting, obviously, like Ben said. But the one thing that kept popping up when I was researching was his wingspan. Everyone that did a pre-draft something on Gobert was like 7'9" wingspan, and reportedly, I'd have to double check this, he can dunk standing without jumping. That's what one scouting report said. So
I don't know. I know he can shoot threes in international play.
Yeah.
Listen, what's in the water now in France? Yeah. I mean, because you got Rudy, you got Wembanyama.
Yeah.
Well,
even that kid on the Wizards is going to be a star. I don't know if you guys seen him.
I know which one you're talking about.
He's like 19.
Yeah, I know who. I forget.
He's their rookie. He's their rookie. His last name starts with a B.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his name. No, and I know exactly why France has had this surge. Guys, think about this. Back 20 years ago, you had Tony Parker, Boris Diaw, other French stars that I can't remember off the top of my head, but like those two alone, Tony Parker, one of the biggest names in international player history, honestly.
Evan Fournier.
He's still playing in the Pistons, yeah. But my point is that France has always, at least as long as I've been following basketball, has always had strong basketball roots. I mean, I can't remember who else was on that French team. That international French.
Timothy Cabarro?
That way past that point.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about like early 2000s.
Oh, 2000s. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's a French guy. Isn't there? I mean, that Colorado kid suddenly is supposed to go number 1 now. But isn't there a French kid who's supposed to go top 3 in this year's draft?
Yeah, 7-1 guy. Yeah. I know who you're talking
It's
about.
probably Wembanyama's little brother.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, it could be.
If he has one. But last thing before we switch over. So Gobert, I don't know if you guys remember, didn't mention his dad a lot. And he actually went to boarding school. He got into a lot of trouble in school. Just like you guys remember Nick Van Exel. He was having issues. And just like Nick Van Exel, Rudy Gobert did not see his mom very often. So it probably was very challenging for him to kind of navigate those waters of figuring out your identity while making friends and getting all this attention for being a potential star basketball player. But yeah, like Gobert, like you don't know much about him other than all the antics and the negativity, like the COVID thing or, him taunting the refs about the sports betting. But he has not had it easy. And when I have a clip later, we'll share, you'll see what I'm talking about. All right, now it's time to talk about Deke, aka Mount Mutombo. But before he got those nicknames, he was born Dikembe Mutombo, Makamba, Jean. All right, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to let him say it himself.
My name is Dikembe Mutombo Polondo Mukama Dikembe Jean-Jacques Mutombo.
Say it one more time, please.
Dikembe Mutombo Polondo Mukama Dikembe Jean-Jacques Mutombo. There's only 9 names.
So, it sounded like he was rapping.
It did.
I can't.
Lucas, why are you laughing so hard?
I can't even.
See, that's the norm, though, of a lot of African names. Because I think Antetokounmpo was something similar to that, too.
Oh, well, they
like
misspelled his name. The spelling of his name now is in Greek. That's the Greek spelling of his name. It's something actually shorter in night.
But it actually is shorter now. His name is shorter.
Joel is just Joel, Hans, and Bede. It's a short one.
Yeah. Well, in his country, he explained a little bit after when I cut it off to Conan O'Brien that it was something about when people come to the hospital after a baby is born, the people who are there, either part of their names go with the name of the baby that was born or they pick names, something that's part of that tradition. I thought that was interesting, but notice I didn't even try to pronounce all those names.
You're right. I have a question. Where's that clip from? Is Conan in New York or LA? Because I'm wondering, was that during the finals? Like,
No,
when would he have done that?
That interview, I think, was maybe at least 7 years ago, at least. So,
so it's like after he retired.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now that we got all 9 of Dikembe's names out of the way, he was born on Saturday, June 25th, 1966, in Kinshasa of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Dikembe's dad, believe it or not, was a school principal, and he also worked for Congo's Department of Education. As a kid, Dikembe wanted to become a doctor. Also as a kid, and this is one of the coolest stories that I've researched for any episode. Get ready for this. When Dikembe was 9 or 8 years old, he actually saw Muhammad Ali fight George Foreman in the 1974 Rumble in the Jungle match. Mm-hmm. Do you guys know that he fought in Africa?
No, I was going to mention that. I didn't want to cut you off, but Kinshasa, that just ring a bell in my head because I'm a big fight guy. So
right.
Yeah, that was one of the most monumental boxing matches ever.
Yeah.
So for him to be there, that's pretty cool.
So can I pause for a second? 2 things. First off, when it comes, there has been controversial takes about Dikembe's actual age. I don't know if you guys heard that or not. But if we actually go by this, Dikembe's the same age as my mother right now, which is very crazy. Because I'm looking at the years and I'm like, oh, that's about the same age as my mom. But like, no, it's crazy because like, they claimed, oh, he was actually like 35 or in his 30s when he entered the NBA, not 25.
He was older. He was like 25,
yeah, he was
I think,
25
when he was drafted.
in his rookie
Yeah.
year. But I'm saying like
rookie.
people thought that think that he's even older than that. Like he was in his like 30s, or
I
maybe
think it's his voice. I think it's his voice. People just were like, "Oh, you seem older."
Well, I don't.
If he was older, he still played pretty good.
I mean, he was.
Yeah.
I remember his last game. I remember because I didn't. Guys, I didn't watch too much stuff in the '90s, early 2000s, but I definitely was watching at the end of his career when he was backing up Yao Ming. And I remember the last game. Do you guys remember?
Got injured, right?
He broke his ankle in the playoffs because he had to start for Yao at 42 years old, or
that was
supposed
a shame.
to be 42. We don't know for sure, apparently.
All right, let's get to an over-under. Over-under how many languages Mutombo speaks? Over-under 10. Ben, what do you think?
I'm going to say under. That's wild if he speaks over 10.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
Maurice?
I barely know one.
That's
perennial. Yeah, I got that right.
Perennial.
Yeah, I'm going to say under.
Okay, and Lucas.
It's just so outrageous. It has to be over.
All right, Lucas, this is for you. You should have went with the consensus.
I've gone with them both times in the past, and it brought me wrong. So I was like, this is too outrageous. Maybe it is true.
Too much negativity. Let me get Maurice and Ben, this is for you. There we go. That's our first correct answer of the day. All right. So yeah, he speaks French, English, Spanish, Portuguese, and 5 Central African dialects. So, dude, smart guy, man. Dikembe Mutombo.
Yeah, he's
really smart guy. Mm-hmm. We already emphasized his age, so let's get back to that. Dikembe did not begin playing basketball until he said he was 16 years old. One more trivia question. What sports did Dikembe play before basketball? Let's go with Ben first. Give me one sport.
Soccer.
Lucas?
I'll say volleyball. It has to be in there, right?
Maurice?
I think soccer is way too easy, but I want to be right, so soccer.
All right. Lucas? This is for you. It's funny. Lucas is frozen on my screen right now. Or is he just closing his eyes?
He's closing his eyes.
You should have said soccer, man.
Well, we always have to say volleyball, right?
Well, yeah, it's true. Were you thinking volleyball because of Embiid?
I mean, no, not really. I mean,
just because you were trying to.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
I for players that come from Africa, they usually either played soccer or volleyball before getting into basketball. So.
Remember, Hakeem Olajuwon played handball. That was a really weird sport to mention.
Handball as a real sport.
So these are the sports. He played soccer and martial arts. So a little karate in there.
There's a little common denominator.
Yeah. Now, although I don't have Dikembe's high school stats, you want to hear his Georgetown stats?
Sure.
Yep.
All right. Before college, Dikembe, well, a little bit of context here. He arrived at Georgetown in the mid-'80s with, in his bag, 2 pairs of pants, 3 shirts, and very little English vocabulary. He had only been playing organized basketball for 2 years, so he was pretty intimidated by Coach John Thompson when they met for the first time. Does anybody know the other star prospect center that Thompson was recruiting simultaneously? You guys should know this.
Yeah.
Ben, who else was he trying to get?
Alonzo Mourning.
Maurice?
Yeah, it was Mourning.
And Lucas?
Alonzo Mourning.
All right, there you go. Good job, guys. So, yeah, Alonzo Mourning and Dikembe on the same team. Crazy.
Twin Towers.
All right, now for his stats. His first year at Georgetown, Dikembe only averaged 3 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 blocks. But his senior year, he put up 15 points, 12 rebounds, and 4.7 blocks in 32 games. Crazy, right? One last thing. Let's talk about the NCAA tournament. This is going to be a really good walk down memory lane. So in 1990-91, Dikembe helped lead Georgetown to the NCAA tournament, where they eventually lost in the second round to UNLV. We all know that UNLV team was stacked. Over under for Mutombo points that game. Let's go 18 points in that game against UNLV. Maurice, over under.
Over. That was a good competition between them and the Rebels, Larry Johnson team.
Yeah. Ben?
Over.
And Lucas.
Over.
All right, you guys are on fire.
Oh, come on.
Look, I'm setting you up. He only had. Remember, he was not that great of an offensive player. I mean, he was very limited, but he did have 16 points in that game, 9 boards and 3 blocks. Real quick, just for fun, you guys want to know the box score for the UNLV team?
Yeah,
sure.
So Larry Johnson in that game had 20 points. Anderson Hunt had 14. Stacey Augmon, 9 points. Greg Anthony, current NBA analyst, 15 points. And George Ackles, 2 points. And Alonzo Mourning, he only had 7 points in that game.
Wow.
Ew.
Yeah, crazy, right? But he did have 11 rebounds. All right. Once Dikembe was done with Georgetown, he submitted his name to the NBA draft, where he was drafted by the Denver Nuggets.
Fourth pick in the 1991 NBA draft, the Denver Nuggets select Dikembe Mutombo from Georgetown University. 7'1", 230 pounds. Went to Institute Boboto in Kinshasa, Zaire for high school. He's 25 years old. Very high IQ young man, very intelligent, not just a man who's smart and aware in basketball sense, but speaks 5 languages and has said all along that basketball is obviously a career where he hopes to make a lot of money and now is being insured of that, but also hopes to use it to develop a business career.
All right, Ben, what stands out to you about Dikembe Mutombo's journey to the NBA?
I know a lot about this. He was like a student, and John Thompson saw him and was like, hey, you need to try out for this team. So I think that's just wild that he had never really played basketball. You hear it a lot now. A lot of guys didn't start till later, but he kind of almost started that trend.
Yeah.
So I just think how quickly he adjusted to playing basketball. Obviously his size helped, but and he had a good college coach, but you don't hear that. I don't think there's ever been, I guess you see it now but you don't really see it in college. So the fact that this dude was just a 7'2" dude walking around campus, that happened, right? I always thought that was like a little sensationalized, but
they had to convince him to even go through with this. Like, students were like, you should be on the basketball team, and his dad and other people, and he finally met John Thompson, and I think just his presence alone made him say, I can do this, and I'm going to be an NBA player, or at least start in college. Maurice, what about you? What stands out to you about Dikembe's early start?
Well, even at the end of that clip you just played, I think after Mutombo retired, we're going forward, but he's done a lot of philanthropy work in his hometown and in Africa, really, to push the game forward. He's one of the reasons why they have NBA Africa. Maybe one of the reasons to inspire a guy like Joel Embiid to come along. So he's done a lot after his career. He's put a lot of money and time into pushing the game forward in his home country. That needs to be recognized.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. Lucas, what about you? What stands out to you?
Well, it's just another example of how Georgetown produced a lot of great big men over the years. Now, the last couple years hasn't been great for Georgetown, but when I was watching college basketball, when I was watching it religiously when I was in middle and high school and a little bit in college, I remember the days of Roy Hibbert being a monster there. I remember Greg Monroe being a really good player there too. But, the story that I can relate to from what I watched when I was a kid was actually the rise of Hasheem Thabeet. Now, Thabeet never had a great NBA career, but how they both kind of walked onto the team, kind of, and Thabeet played for UConn, but the same similar story kind of resonates with me there.
Yeah, these guys grew up in Africa in their respective countries, and in the 80s and 90s, basketball was not as popular. It's now global, as you guys stated. And the one thing, Lucas, I'll expand on with what you're saying about just Georgetown being this hub of developing talented centers. Now, whether those centers become all-stars or all NBA, that's neither here nor there. But the fact is Georgetown would attract those. And John Thompson had a huge, huge part in that. And one thing I'll mention, everyone is thinking about at this point. Has nothing to do with basketball. I'm sure everyone is trying to imagine Dikembe Mutombo and Rudy Gobert in a martial arts tournament squaring off. Can you guys imagine that?
Yeah.
2
7'2"
guys. I feel like Dikembe has the upper edge.
You think Dikembe
Really?
would win?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think in their prime, when they were both 30, those two guys squaring off.
In boxing or MMA?
No, well, karate, martial arts.
Oh, okay, karate. Woo.
Yeah,
that's like Godzilla versus King Kong.
Yeah, I just imagine what's his name, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, when he was in that Bruce Lee movie.
Yeah,
he was pretty swift in
Game
that
of
movie.
Death.
Yeah,
Good movie.
Yeah. The last thing I'll mention is another center that played for John Thompson is. So Alonzo Mourning used to actually embarrass Dikembe in the early Georgetown practice days. I mean, just he was bigger, stronger. Dikembe was still very uncoordinated. But John Thompson always encouraged Dikembe to respond or at least try to stop Alonzo Mourning. And also don't forget Patrick Ewing would invite those guys to his camps and they would battle. Can you guys imagine those practices with those guys?
Yeah.
That was crazy.
That was crazy.
Second quarter. Statistics.
Look at this, going up high. Gobert erases the shot inside. Unbelievable block here by Rudy Gobert. I mean, that is meeting someone absolutely at the summit. Beautiful block here by Gobert.
Towns against Gobert, puts his shoulder down, rolls inside, try to slam it home, and Rudy said, "Not tonight."
Right here. Attempt denied. Nice rejection.
140 volt. By the way, that's not sustainable. If it is possession, but he just made 2 threes. Here's the block shot. It's so frustrating if you're Powell. He goes up and he thinks he's going to.
One a block, one a goaltend. I don't get it.
Gobert swats the dunk attempt by Bielitsa. That just got him angry. Playing off the defense. No, sir. Denied. No goaltend this time.
14 a game. A turnover is.
Rudy caught you in mid-sentence, and I don't blame you. Wow.
All right, those were the highlights. Here are the numbers. So Gobert is listed at 7'1", 258 pounds. He's worn 27 for both the Utah Jazz and the Minnesota Timberwolves. So I had to do some digging here, figuring out which season I would use. So I went with the 2020-21 season. He averaged 14 points, 3.5 offensive rebounds, 13.5 defensive rebounds.
Whoa.
1 assist, half a steal, and check this out, 2.7 blocks, while shooting 67% from the field and 62% from the free throw line. That's the season that I went with. It's not necessarily, there are other seasons that he led the leagues in either blocks or rebounds, but that's the one that I pinpointed as arguably his best season. Agree to disagree.
Sounds right to me.
We can go into more stuff later. But let me go to career highs now real quick. And because this is a quote-unquote Hall of Fame episode, I do have some extra stats outside of the career high. So career highs, 35 points as a scoring career high. Not super crazy, but a little bit impressive considering what he is as an offensive player. He's had 13 career offensive rebounds as a career high. He's had 22 defensive rebounds as a career high. Over under 30 total rebounds as a career high. I'll go with Uriah first.
30 rebounds. That's astronomical. I'm going to go under on this one.
Maurice?
I'm going to go... Oh, you know what? I'll go over.
Ben?
Under, yeah, that's tough. Because Nurkic has the most this year, and that wasn't even 30, I don't think.
Okay.
It was their franchise record.
Well, Maurice, I have very good news for you. You are the second one today to get a thumbs down. No, it was 28 as a career high in total rebounds, 8 assists as a career high, 5 steals as a career high. Now, over under 10 blocks as a career high. I'll start with Ben this time.
That's another one that's like, it seems, I'm going to say under, because that's just, you don't see it that much. I don't even think Victor did it once this year, and that was crazy. Yeah.
Maurice?
I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to go over.
Uriah?
I'm going to go over.
Ben?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How many was
9.
it? I'm curious.
9.
Yeah, only because like you see on like NBA Twitter, you just see like that quadruple double is so rare. That's why.
So career stats, before I get into all-time stats, I'm just going to give you his career averages right now. So his career averages is 12.5 points, 11.8 rebounds, 2 blocks, while shooting 65.5% from the field. Those are his career averages. Now, there are some awesome all-time stuff here. I'm not even going to get into franchise stuff. Even though they did both play for the Nuggets, I'm not going to get into that. We're just going to go career stuff here. So currently, in terms of total rebounds in the NBA, he is 6th active in total rebounds in the NBA.
Wow.
For his career,
that's special. Yeah.
For his career, he is 67th all time with 8,797 rebounds at the recording of this. And rebounds per game, NBA all time, is 23rd. In terms of blocks, active, he is 3rd active in the NBA in terms of total blocks for his career at 1,595. Career, he's at 37th. Okay? Blocks average. Active, 3rd in the NBA. Career, 23rd. So, keeping that in mind, I'll start with Maurice here. Maurice, what are some takeaways that you get from these numbers?
If I'm not mistaken, did you say he had a career high 13 offensive rebounds?
Career high 13 offensive rebounds. His career average on offensive rebounds is 3.3.
That's crazy because not many bigs get a lot of offensive rebounds. For you to have a game where you had 13 offensive rebounds, that's more than a lot of guys get total rebounds in a game. It says a lot. And I think I said this about Dennis Rodman. You have to exert a certain amount of energy and have a certain amount of effort.
Did we do a Dennis Rodman episode?
No, but we've talked about him before.
Okay.
Yeah.
We haven't done one yet, but yeah, we've mentioned him.
I have a perfect comp for Rodman, but we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, even with Dennis Rodman, there's a certain amount of energy and effort you have to exert to want to be a great rebounder.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's not even really a skill, it's more just a will to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You have a bunch of comps of skilled players. These guys are skilled in a different way. And it's good that we're doing this comp because
they play winning basketball, like on defense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's interesting, Maurice. Like, well, did you finish, Maurice?
Wait.
Yeah, you made me think about something that kind of like a light bulb went off, where it's like both these guys at the center position play really good team defense. And I think Gobert
good point.
has really showed his value because you literally take him off that Utah team and he comes on and right away, 50-plus win team, almost 60 wins. And that's a lot to do with him, not just Anthony Edwards. And so this guy, wherever he goes, winning basketball. Same with Mutombo. I mean, those, like, wherever you go, and they just have a very high defensive IQ, not just individually, but team defense too. Yeah. And I think they're very underrated.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Uriah? What are you thinking?
I think that 13 offensive rebound game, I would love to go back and watch those highlights, and I'm willing to bet that he probably had back-to-back offensive rebounds on several possessions just because, when you're that tall, 7'1", 7'2", with a 7'9" wingspan, you know how you get a rebound and then you put it back up, you miss, and then you get another rebound, you put it back up. So I can imagine Gobert like getting like 3 rebounds on one possession and 3 rebounds on another. So maybe that's how he reached that number. But I think the average, was it 2.7 blocks?
His career average is 2.1 blocks, but I will.
But no, in the year.
Oh, that year, it was 2.7. I will say this: there are only 2 seasons that he has not averaged 2 blocks a game. That was his
Gobert?
His rookie season.
Oh, okay. Rookie, that makes sense.
And then his first season in Minnesota when he had that down year.
When you play winning basketball, like Ben was saying, being a help defender and your teammates knowing that you're back there to back them up, it's no wonder why Utah, even though they never won, Utah just kept going back. And look at this year. Mm-hmm. Gobert's impact on how Minnesota is playing is tremendous. And you have to respect that. You may not like his antics. You may not like how he talks or what have you, but Gobert is a beast. And there's a reason why he is such a respected defensive player.
What about you, Ben? Do you have any numbers that really shocked you?
The rebounding, because he helps so much on defense. I think both guys use their size with rebounding in a way because they're both kind of more thin. I'd say the rebounding, given how thin they are, because you don't always see that with like tall, thin dudes. I would say
they're not like Shaq, basically.
Yeah, not Shaq. Shaq or even Barkley.
Ben, I think they both had a knack for just getting to where the ball was, like keeping their hands up, getting to the ball quicker than anyone around them. And I think their thin frame might have helped them with that. They're not super athletic, and they're not super coordinated, neither of these guys. But they know how to get the ball from the rim, off the rim, and get it either back up for a shot or to a teammate.
This is an interesting comp because, like, it feels like we're almost talking about the same player. Yeah, if that makes sense. Yeah. This is a very unique comp.
There honestly isn't that much difference if we're looking at the numbers, which I think it's time for us to go to Dikembe. So let's go ahead and play the highlight reel.
Georgetown, number 55, Dikembe Mutombo.
Down the lane, here comes Dikembe.
Deke! Mutombo's in. Mutombo rolls in. Count it, and a foul. Goes up for the slam. Mutombo says no. This could be his first shot. It is. Dikembe said no, not in my house.
Mutombo goes baseline and throws it down.
John Kemp tried to do a one-on-one block. Dikembe reloads it. He knew Dikembe was there.
With the follow.
George Cunningham smiling. And Dikembe erases it. It's inside to Baker. Mookie comes to help. Dikembe rejects it.
Second all-time shot blocker in NBA history.
Nice play to Dikembe. Hello.
The Rodgers again, great position. Oh, Dikembe flies in and puts it down.
One of the great upsets in NBA playoff history.
Dikembe Mutombo, one of the great human beings. National Basketball Association, a guy you gotta love.
So those were the highlights. Here are the numbers. So interesting that Ben said in the previous segment that he thought that Dikembe had a little bit more, size on him in terms of weight. That is not the case. He's listed at 7'2", 245, which is about 13 pounds lighter than Rudy Gobert. He also wore the same number at every single stop that he played at. How many teams did Mutombo play for? I'm not going to ask you the names. I'm just going to ask how many teams.
Yeah, I know this one.
Okay, how many?
Doing my set. Yeah.
No. Let him go last.
Fine. You're right. You go first.
All right. I'm going to go 6 teams.
6 teams. Ben?
I could think of 5. I'm going to say 5 because I know he retired shortly after the Nets.
Maurice, how many is it?
You're right. It was right. It's 6.
It's 6, yeah. Did wear 2 different styles of Nuggets jerseys, which could...
Wait a minute. Who was right?
Uriah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I just wanted to do that for myself.
Yeah, and Maurice.
Yeah, you selfish person.
We forget he played for the Knicks.
Yes, he did.
I did.
He did play for the Knicks.
Yeah.
Wow, I definitely forgot that.
Yeah, he played 1 season for the Knicks. Yeah, it's interesting, though. He had 2 iterations of the Nuggets jerseys, though. So I always find that interesting when Basketball Reference has that up there.
The old Nuggets jerseys was better.
So, actually, it wasn't even the Carmelo Nuggets jerseys. It was like I guess there's two different versions of the 90s Nuggets jerseys that I only knew.
Is the Antonio McDyess Nuggets jersey.
Yeah, that's the one that he ended on, but there was one before.
That was a good one.
There was one before that I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, it was like the more yellow one.
The checker. It's the checkered one, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
That's when they were the 8th seed and they upset. That was that jersey, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Yep.
Like I said, I was barely alive at that point. So, that being said, this was really hard to choose because this guy played for 18 seasons. So it's not like and he was dominant defensively for a lot of these seasons. So it took me a minute. Like I could have gone with his rookie year because he averaged the most points that year at 16 and a half. But I didn't because he's not an offensive player. He's defense. True. So I went with the 1997-98 season. He was playing his second season with the Hawks there.
Okay.
He averaged 13 and a half points, 3.4 offensive rebounds, 11.4 total rebounds, 3.4 blocks, half a steal, half an assist. He shot from the field. He shot essentially 54% from the field and 67% from the free throw line. Pretty solid there. But let's go to the career highs now real quick. So, that's an interesting comparison. At least one of these, he's tied with Rudy Gobert. Do you guys want to guess which one of these he is tied with a career high with Rudy?
Career highs?
I'm going to say steals.
You think it's steals? What do you think, Maurice?
I'm actually going to say blocks.
Uriah.
And I'll go rebounds.
Total rebounds, defensive rebounds, or offensive rebounds?
Oh, I'll go total.
Okay.
Total rebounds.
That's right. You're all wrong. No, it was offensive rebounds. 13.
He's been waiting all episode to say that.
I have.
Right.
13 as well.
13 offensive rebounds. Yeah, he did it a couple times.
That's crazy.
Yep. So, he has a career high 39 points, not far off from the scoring for Rudy Gobert.
Wait, Dikembe had 39?
Yep, back in...
What?
Let's see. His rookie season.
Look at Ben's face.
Rookie season.
What?
Wow, that's nuts.
crazy.
Yeah, he played 48 minutes in that game, though, or something along those lines.
Okay.
Maybe overtime?
Overtime
game?
Never mind. It was 48 for that season was a career high. It might not have been that game. Anyway.
Because Dwight Howard had didn't he have he had crazy numbers?
A 50-point game or something. Anyway,
No, wait. Hold on. Forget Dwight Howard.
Can we get back to this?
No, Mutombo. I'm trying to get... What was his career high in points?
39.
It's definitely 39. Okay. All right. That's just
Offensive rebounds, we already said was 13. Defensive rebounds, 23. Actually, isn't that the same as Rudy as well? It might be.
These are very similar comparisons.
Yeah. Let's see. Total rebounds, 31. So he did break the 30 mark here.
Yeah.
7 assists, 5 steals, 12 blocks. He had at least double-digit blocks in a single season. And this might have happened multiple times, but this was the career high for that season. Was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He had 8 times out of his 18 careers that he had a double-digit block game. And by the way, the most recent one that happened was when he was 37 years old with the Knicks. Per game average for his career was 9.8 points, 10.3 total rebounds, 3.2 offensive rebounds, and 2.8 blocks while shooting 51.8% from the field. Maurice, what is your initial thoughts after hearing these stats?
Well, I could say analytically, Rudy was the better player overall. But with that said, what stands out to me is the 13 offensive rebounds as well as a career high. Once again, we're basically comparing the same players. But in Mutombo's case, and I always thought Mutombo was like a bigger, stronger of the two we're comparing, even though Gobert made way more. His impact in the paint was resonating for me because in the NBA in the 90s, everybody played hard. Everybody played tougher defense. Not saying that it's easier today. It's just a different type of game today. But the competition Mutombo had, the numbers stand out a little bit more for me.
Yeah.
You guys understand what I'm saying?
No, I mean he had to contend with the likes of Elijah Wan, Ewing. Who else am I missing here? David Robinson.
I mean, Shaq in the finals.
Shaq in the finals twice.
Yeah,
twice.
Two different teams.
Gobert, who has like Jokic, Joel, Cat.
I do think we finally have arrived in that era. I do think the bigs now are that quality.
Right.
But there just isn't quite.
There's still more depth.
I think the 90s had more depth at that position. But in terms of top tier talent, I think we're at the same level.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because I don't think I think it drops off. Like, no offense to Sabonis or Bam, but like
I don't think they would survive in the 90s.
They're not. Yeah, they're not Ewing or
they would be power forwards in the 90s, not centers.
Yeah.
Ben, because you're already talking, let's go to you.
The 12 blocks kind of stands out. You just don't see that much. That's pretty nuts.
I mean, we only seen that
12.
The only player that I've seen get double-digit blocks, there's two players that I can think of off the top of my head. Obviously, Victor Wembanyama this season, right? That got in double-digit blocks. Yep. The other guy, I'm pretty sure...
Shaq did it.
Well, I was...
You like Orlando Shaq, maybe, right?
But I was actually thinking more of Hassan Whiteside. When he was in his heyday for about...
Hassan Whiteside?
Hassan Whiteside, yeah. During his heyday, he had some crazy amount of blocks.
Yes, that is true. Whiteside was
he was like he was
a
flicker. He was really good for a short amount of time, but then, anyway, he's retired now. But, so that doesn't happen very often.
39 points... That's probably up there with the 12 blocks.
That's only 4 off of what Rudy has as a career high, and it happened during Dikembe's rookie season when he averaged the most points for his career. So,
do you think he would have been able to deal with Embiid or Jokic? Because I think he's a little better than one-on-one. I think he's a little better than Gobert.
But at the same time, Gobert gets chewed up by those two, especially Joel.
He does. Yeah, Embiid really wipes
Jokic,
the floor with
Gobert
when they play.
When Minnesota plays Denver, they don't have Gobert guarding Jokic.
He actually plays Jokic well. I will say that, to be honest.
Off-ball defender because he's guarding Aaron Gordon. They have Cat.
No, but Jokic went 8 for 30 one game in the playoffs.
One game, and that was Cat defending him, not Gobert. Cat was the primary defender on him.
What stood out to me from the stats you read was his shooting percentage that season, which was only 53%.
Yeah, he's not a great shooter.
Where Gobert is always 60% and above. And I think what happens was, if you go back and watch Dikembe when he was playing, whether rookie year, prime, or toward the end, he would always try these moves, these hook shots. I don't know if you guys, with the Sixers, obviously they played. He always had these hook shots or going away from the basket a little bit. So I think his shooting form was definitely not the same as Gobert's. And Gobert is I guess, a more polished player shooting.
No, he doesn't. He can't. His form and release. Gobert can't shoot either. He just catches lobs. That's the difference.
That's true. He does get a lot of lobs.
He just does lobs. He knows his.
That is true.
I think the difference here is, like you said, Dikembe tried to make his own offense. Gobert just lets the offense come to him with the lobs. So
that's fair.
I think that's why there's a difference in shooting percentage.
And also 90s basketball, the way
they wanted the center to
there was
an
there was an obsession to go through a big. Yeah. Even if they were not good.
Third quarter, accolades.
The Kia NBA Defensive Player of the Year is Rudy Gobert.
You saw my teammates. I say this all the time, but it's a team game, and when you have guys that bring it out every night, coming every day with the same focus, and and compete like we do, it's inspirational. And from the coaching staff, Quinn, who is just a little competitive, AJ, the Jazz organization, Miller family. It's just unbelievable for me. My mom that's here tonight. We came from Miller hometown in France. Je sais que c'est grâce à toi de ça. Donc je t'aime. I just want to, thank you.
Okay, that is Rudy Gobert accepting his Defensive Player of the Year award. I'm going to start off with one that I actually don't think you guys will know because they don't usually reward defensive guys too much. How many times has Rudy Gobert made the All-Star team? I'll start off with Maurice.
That's tough. I'm going to say 2.
Okay. Uriah.
That sounds about right. I'll agree with Maurice.
All right. And Lucas?
Trace.
All right. Maurice and Uriah, you guys are not the winners. All right. All right. Lucas is 3 in a row. He actually probably should have gotten it this year.
Yeah,
I'm being honest. So,
and he might have. He probably should have gotten it 1 or 2 more times before then too.
Yeah. He like given the numbers I'm about to go into, the guy should be at least a 5 or 6 time All-Star.
It's actually kind of weird that he had. I'm not going to ruin it. Never mind. I'll wait until you're done.
It's just a shame that the All-Star game has come down to just who can score. They don't care about defense. So
it's also hard to. I think he has other All-Stars on his team. And so, but his impact, I think, given how they're playing without Cat, is more important than Cat scoring. All right, so he's 3-time All-Star. How many times has he made an All-NBA team? This is a little more, well, I'll say this. This is a little more respectful, I would say, his All-NBA numbers. So All-NBA, this is first, second, third team. I'm just going to do all together. I'm going to start off with you, Lucas. How many?
I think... I'm not even sure on this because I tried not to pay attention when I was doing the stats. I think it's either 4 or 5. I'm going to say 4 All-NBA.
Okay. Uriah.
Yeah, I do the same thing, Lucas. I try to blind myself from looking at certain accolades and numbers, but I am going to go with 5. I'll say 5.
Okay. And Maurice.
I'm going to go with 5 as well.
All right. Lucas, man. Lucas is the winner again.
Okay.
Yeah, 4.
Hey, don't buzz me.
And it's interesting because he got second team early in his career. He got second team in the 2017 season.
Oh, wow.
Now, mind you, that I think that might have been in the era when Dwight fell off before Jokic and Embiid, where DeAndre Jordan was getting first team.
Games the 2017 season.
Yeah, so that was a pretty weak era. But so he's 4-time. 1-time All-Second Team, and 3-time All-NBA Third Team, 2019 to 2021. Given the injuries, I actually think he deserves it, and he should get it. Probably second team, actually.
Yeah, without Joel there, there's a chance.
And Cat won't get it. He won't be eligible.
Right.
All right, let's get into it. How many times has this dude been All-NBA Defensive First Team?
Oh.
First team.
I did not pay attention.
We're going to start off with Uriah. All-NBA Defensive First Team. How many times has Rudy Gobert been on that team?
Playing in the league for 10 years and his impact on the Jazz winning and all the stuff that we just talked about. I'm going to go with 7.
Okay, wow. All right. Maurice.
First team only, right, Ben?
First team only. Yeah.
I'm going to say 6.
All right. And
I'm going to go with 4 again.
All right. So Maurice, you're the winner.
Okay.
It's 6. Yeah.
Uriah,
I feel like he's going to get it this year, first team. So Uriah's kind of right. But yeah, 6 straight. And yeah, from the 2017 to 2022 season, it is interesting because there's probably some years. There's some I would say Joel probably should have gotten it 1 or 2 of these years, given some of those defenses that when the Sixers were the 1 seed. But it's just impressive that he's that dominant on the defensive end. There's really, or I would say Bam or Joel probably should have snuck in there one of those years. But I mean, you can't deny that the Jazz were always a playoff team. How many seasons has he led the NBA in rebounding? I'm going to go with Lucas.
I believe it's either 3 or 4, and my instinct says it's 4.
Uriah.
I think it's lower than that. I'm going to say I'm going to say twice.
Okay.
I'm going to say 1.
All right, Maurice is pulling away.
What?
It's 1. It's only 1.
Yes,
Yeah.
good.
Oh, I was thinking of field goal percentage.
Well, remember, Drummond. Drummond was always at the
Drummond
top, right?
was for a
If I'm
while
not
now.
mistaken.
Sabonis is probably going to get it this year.
Right.
Did Whiteside win it one year?
Probably.
Yeah. So there's been all sorts of like weird, but yeah, that surprised me the most. He's only led the NBA rebounding once, but he's just consistent. That 2017 season, I mean, Lucas kind of mentioned it already, but that was, I guess, his best year. I actually think this year
that's his best year. I don't think.
Actually, 2019.
It was the
2019 season. That's what I went with.
Yeah.
And that was just because top 10 and MVP finalists, NBA All Defensive team, All NBA team, All-Star game, and then Defensive Player of the Year. That's what kind of sealed it for me. It just seemed very well balanced. He didn't lead the league in any one season there, but I mean, actually shooting wise,
and they were the one seed that year, right?
So because that was the second to last season before he left. Yeah, so that's why I chose that season, the 2021 season, where he averaged 14 and 13. So yeah.
Okay, how many times has he been the NBA Defensive Player of the Year? I'm going to start off with you, Lucas, first. Okay, Uriah.
Wait, Defensive Player of the Year 4 times?
Defensive Player of the Year.
Wow, I thought it was just 3.
It might have been 3. Hang on, is it 3?
I'm going to go with 3.
I might be wrong. It might be. I think I'm jumping ahead of myself. Yeah, it's 3.
Yeah, 4 is a lot.
Sorry, my bad. It's 3. It's 3. I messed up.
Well, you're trying to predict the future. That's what
we know Lucas has the answer. That's for sure.
No, I haven't even looked at it since I did the stats. I haven't. I swear.
I'm just going to go with Lucas and say 3.
Wait, I said
Uriah said 3.
Yeah, you guys know this. You're all right. It's 3. And then it feels like he's going to get it this year, so it's going to be it's going to be 4, which is
it should have been 2019, 2020. Was that the year that Giannis won it?
That was the year Giannis won.
Then
he
2021, 22 was the year that Marcus Smart won. Draymond or Marcus Smart?
Marcus Smart won it last year.
Did he? No, it was 2 years ago.
I believe so.
So yeah, it was that season. Yeah,
was it?
And then Jaren Jackson won last year.
Yeah, Jaren Jackson won last year. Draymond's won in here,
16, 17.
And then he's going to win it this year. So because it's like him and Victor Wembanyama, who's won like 12 games, so he's not going to win it.
No, he should be in the top 3.
And Joel dropped 70 on him. So, French Player of the Year 2019. And I think the most random stat that is impressive, especially as we're coming into an Olympic year, was he was a silver medalist in the 2021, technically 20 Olympic team. And so that's something to look out for.
Play some FIBA last year? No, they didn't, did they?
Not that I know.
No, he's been in Euro. He plays a lot overseas in the off season. So he has all these like bronze medals from like the World Cup 2014, 2019, Euro basketball silver medalist, bronze in 2015. So he's got all these Euro stats. And he was the French Player of the Year in 2019. What do you guys think? What stands out the most of these stats? Like, what's the craziest? What's the thing that you're like, wow, this guy's really good?
Well, first of all, what if Embiid declared to play for France?
They're going to have 3 centers play in the starting lineup.
Yeah, he declared for U.S. basketball, but
Victor would be the small forward, Embiid would be the power forward, and Rudy would be the starting center. That's how they would play that.
They would win gold medal.
Yeah, they would.
Rudy Gobert defensively is one of the most dynamic bigs. Well, not even bigs, but just defensive players in general we've seen all the time. He can be a defensive player any year he plays. He makes such an impact, you have to game plan for Rudy Gobert. Minnesota wasn't good before Rudy Gobert got there. Now they're the number 1 or number 2 seed, which is crazy because, we all question that trade in general, but he's just a dynamic player, man. Really is. He needs to be recognized for it.
That's a good point, Maurice. And remember they're like, oh, they traded all these first round picks, but if they're the 1 seed, that first round pick's like a 29th, 30th pick. So
yeah,
it's almost a second round. So they almost that trade looks kind of good actually if they keep playing the way
not
they
all
are.
of them were some of them were swaps. You're not going to swap with a team that's at the bottom of the first round. If you give him 4 defensive player of the year awards, you put him into elite category. And I've never really thought of Rudy Gobert as a quote-unquote elite defender. Not to say that he's not really good and he hasn't deserved the defensive player of the year awards that he's gotten. I will say this. You know how people say that Jokic is his own offensive system? Well, Gobert is his own defensive system. In the fact that he is one of a few players in the whole entire NBA that can defend the pick and roll by himself. He does not need, he can play 2 players at once in the pick and roll on a semi-regular basis. That is not the case for most players. I would say maybe 1 to 2 other players can do that. So that in itself, and the fact that he has such length allows him to do that. So I will give him credit on that. And that being said, I think that maybe he has been snubbed from 1 or 2 All-Star games, but that is just because the league just loves their offense so much.
I wanted to piggyback on what Lucas said really quick and say that there is a drop-off in the playoffs with this dude defensively. There are centers who really up their game in the playoffs, Bam being one of them, Draymond. So I would say Gobert needs to do that this playoffs. And I think he's capable, but he has to up it because the issue with Gobert is they sub him out. He's unplayable in moments. So I would say that just needs to translate to the playoffs because teams seem to attack that. What about you, Uriah? What stands out?
Yeah, I think the accolade that stands out to me is 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. No matter what era you're in, when you are picked by the committee to be in that company, not many players get it once and rarely twice. But for him to do it 3 times, I think that's special. And I think as much as people might take shots at him because of his antics and just like personality is one thing, saying or doing silly things is another. But if we're just talking straight up hoops and a guy that can back you up in the paint, and we've all played basketball here at some point, when you have that guy in the middle, it's like cool, we got the biggest guy on the court. Pick up we got a guy that's 6'6", so you can take risks on the perimeter, try to get steals. I think Gobert is an outstanding defender and one of the best of his era.
He might, as of this recording, he might win another one this season. Yeah. I think he could win maybe 1 or 2 more defensive players.
He's like 32 now? 33?
I want to say 31.
Yeah, so he probably has 1 or 2 more left.
And I think that's what Lucas was. I think that's why he said 4, because I think Lucas is going to be right. I think he will get it.
I think subconsciously I don't want him to get the 4th, just because then he's in that conversation with all-time great defenders. And he is. He is. For this era, he is.
You're in the minority on that one.
And keeping it positive, I would say he moves his feet really, really well for a big, and kind of going into the other guy, you don't see because he's not so athletic. So he moves his feet pretty laterally really well, so he's able to play team defense.
When I was an NBA rookie, someone asked me what I thought my career would be like. I never dreamed it would include this. I'm so honored to be in the Basketball Hall of Fame. I only want to be remembered as one of the best defensive players to ever play this game. I like to think that I accomplished that. The gentleman on my right means so much to me. Coach John Thompson. I learned a lot under Coach Thompson. I learned about the game of basketball, but most importantly, I learned how to be a man in this society. He's really a father figure to all of us who got a chance to play for him at Georgetown University. Denver Stern. I want to thank Denver for the NBA global vision of not only growing the game, but the league commitment to improving communities all over around the world. As we call it, NBA Cares.
Man, that guy had the best voice. That's Dikembe Mutombo receiving his Hall of Fame acceptance. All right, we're gonna get into Mutombo. Actually, has a lot more. This kind of surprised me. He has quite a bit more accolades, not quite a bit, but a good amount more than Gobert. I'm gonna start off with this one. This one surprised me the most. How many times has Dikembe Mutombo been an NBA All-Star? I'm gonna start off with Maurice.
This is interesting because I know it's more than Gobert. And like I mentioned earlier, different skill level, different competition in the 90s, 2000s. I'm going to say 7.
All right. Uriah.
I'm going to say 8.
All right. And Lucas, how many All-Star games?
I believe it is 6.
Okay, Lucas and Maurice, you guys are wrong. But Uriah's right. You got 8. He got one right away. Rookie year. He was a rookie All-Star.
2000,
which is rare.
That was 1991, 92. There weren't that many. I mean, there were.
But that needs to be a list. How many? Because the All-Star game hasn't been around that long. How many? I think there's only been a few guys. Tim did it. Tim Duncan.
Luka did it.
Luka didn't do it. Victor didn't do, which was surprising.
Luka didn't. Vince Carter didn't do it. Iverson
I know
didn't do
Blake
it.
Griffin and Duncan did.
Tim are the only ones I can think of. So it's impressive that
maybe Isaiah Thomas.
Did they have
they
had the All-Star game during
Magic Johnson
during Bill Russell's time?
They had it since the 70s.
Yes.
But my point is, I don't even think it might not even be in the modern league in the last 50 years. Probably only a handful of guys. So that's impressive. He was an All-Star right away. As Lucas said, he was putting up numbers. So 92 got an All-Star, then 95 to 98, 4 years in a row, he was an All-Star. With the one with Denver. So he's had 2 with Denver, and then he had
with
3 with 4 with the Hawks, and then 1 with the Sixers, and 1 with the
Nets, right? Yeah, the Nets. Yeah,
the Nets has to be the Nets. Yeah.
So he's actually been an All-Star with 4 different franchises, so that's impressive. How many times has he been on the All-NBA team? First, second, or third? I'm going to start off with Lucas.
Honestly, it can't be that much because the era. Well, I think he probably got it at least once or twice in the early 2000s because Shaq was the only one that was really dominant there. I'm going to say about 3. 3 seems about right.
Okay. Maurice, what about you?
It's either 2 or 3. I'm going to go 2.
And Uriah?
Yeah, there's so much competition at that position, including Alonzo Mourning. Man, that's interesting. Hakeem, Ewing, Shaq. Not enough room in there for Dikembe. I would say 2.
Yes.
It's 3. But you guys are all right with your theory of your timelines. It was literally when all those dudes from the 80s, Olajuwon, Ewing, Robinson, all kind of literally right when not retired, but they kind of declining,
2002.
So literally, 90. He was a 3-time, one time All-NBA second team. It was with the Sixers in 2001. And then he was third team in 98 and 2002. So literally that era is when he finally was able to get some awards because he was able to still produce into his mid-30s. Unlike those guys, they kind of felt... Well, they were a little older than him.
Played a lot longer. They were in their late... the league when he was 25.
And they... Yeah, so they were in their late 30s, and he still was in his early. So he got a couple. It was really him and Shaq and Alonzo Mourning. That was pretty much it. It was that era where the bigs were kind of pre-Dwight Howard.
Shaq
where
was
the
great offensive big for a while because Alonzo started and Dikembe were defensive guys.
That was it.
Mainly.
Yeah,
it was the power forward era. It was KG. Yeah. It was the power forward era. How many times was he the defensive player of the year? I'm going to start off with Uriah.
I want to say 3.
Okay. Maurice?
2.
It's
and
4.
Lucas.
That's why I don't want him to get 4.
Is it 4?
So Lucas is right.
Oh.
I find this to be really impressive
Dikembe
because
got 4 defensive player of the years.
Wow.
And peep this, he got 4 in peak like when Olajuwon and Dennis Rodman was still in their latter peak.
Yeah.
So get this, he got 1 in 95, 97, and 98.
And then he got the last one in 2000, right? Yeah.
With the Sixers, 2001. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's crazy because I think those 3 years are the craziest because you got to think of like the Bulls were in their three-peat season.
2 of those seasons, 2 of those, he led the league in blocks, right?
And Scottie Pippen. Yeah. But that's impressive that he got 3 in that era. Olajuwon, David Robinson.
There's the only other player that got 4 right is Ben Wallace, right? It's him and Ben Wallace, right?
Has Ben Wallace gotten 4?
I'll check. You keep on going.
I don't think so. So he has been a 6-time All-NBA defensive player, but not first team. Again, he was 3-time All-NBA defensive first team, 97, 98, and 2001. This is really odd. So peep this. He was All-NBA defensive second team in 95, but I just told you his stat. But he was defensive player of the year in 95.
That is weird. So who was
Weird,
first
right?
team that year?
I'm lost. Probably Olajuwon if it's 95 or David Robinson.
I wonder if it was
Probably
like
David
games
Robinson.
played or something.
I have no idea. That one was. I don't think they can do that anymore.
That's like winning. That's like winning like the most games in the Olympics, and then they give you the silver medal. Like, come on.
Yeah. So 6-time All-NBA defensive team, 3 first, 3 second. He didn't win Rookie of the Year in, which is interesting because he was an All-Star in '92. I believe that went to who won in '92? Was it Shaq?
It had to be Shaq.
Yeah. So Shaq was probably an All-Star too that year. Yeah, he definitely was his rookie year. He was part of the All-NBA rookie first team in '92. How many times did Dikembe Mutombo lead the NBA in rebounding? I'm going to go with Maurice first. How many times?
7.
Okay.
Whoa.
Lucas?
That's high.
That is high.
It's either 4 or 5. I'm going to go with 4.
All right, Uriah.
I'm going to go 6.
All right. So this is going to surprise you guys. Only twice.
What? Wow, really?
And this is where it gets weirder. It was later in his career. He never led the NBA in rebounding in the 90s.
Oh, because Rodman was always
Rodman owned it, yeah. So 2000 and 2001. So his last year with the Hawks and his first year with the Sixers, he was the NBA rebounding leader. How many times was he the NBA blocks leader? Let's start off with Uriah.
Oh, man. Considering Manute Bol was playing, considering Hakeem was playing, blocks, I'll say once.
Okay. Maurice?
That's a tricky question. I want to say 3 times. 3.
I'm going to go with Maurice on that and say 3, but also Ben Wallace is the only other player that's gotten 4. And Gobert is also tied with Dwight Howard with second most with 3 with Defensive Player of the Years. Just to put that out there. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 3 times that Dikembe led the league in blocks. It might actually be more, but I'm going to go with 3. 3 feels safe.
So Lucas and Maurice, you guys are correct. It is 3. It's also 3. It's 3 straight. So in Denver, earlier in his career, he was a blocks leader. So 94 to 96. So it was his Denver era where he was the blocks leader. All right, so his number has been retired by the Hawks and the Nuggets. He wore number 55 for both. Some of his college stuff, he actually was All-American in his 91 season. He's third team All-American, first team All-Big East, second team All-Big East, and then he was the Big East, 2-time Big East Defensive Player of the Year in 90-91. And it's interesting because his lack of offense I find this interesting that he was the 4th overall pick in that era. I guess centers were just so
people in that draft.
91,
Shaq?
wasn't that Shaq?
It was Larry Johnson, Kenny Anderson, Billy Owens with number 3, and Mutombo at 4.
Oh, okay. That makes
sense. Who
sense.
went one? Shaq? Was it Shaq?
Larry Johnson.
Larry Johnson.
So that was the year before Shaq.
Okay.
So that was a weak draft. Look at it. Steve Smith was number 5. Luke Longley went 7, but sorry to cut you off.
That was a really weak draft. That's it. What stands out to you guys? All right, I'm going to start off with Lucas. What stands out to you?
The fact that he was able to get these awards in such a defensive anchor era. Like, we talk about Rudy Gobert getting 3 Defensive Player of the Years when it wasn't a super defensive-focused era. But you got it over you beat out Olajuwon for more defensive players. Olajuwon only has 2. Only Ben Wallace has tied you. Only Ben Wallace. And Rudy Gobert probably is going to tie him. At the end of the day, that's pretty elite considering, like, he's not, like... When you think of the greatest centers of all times, you don't think of Dikembe Mutombo. Maybe most of that has to do to the offense, but honestly, if you think of, like, modern NBA, he's probably the closest thing that we will ever see to Bill Russell in terms of defensive impact.
Good point.
And, that's, and that's not even, his last game was about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
He laterally moved well for his size and lack of athleticism, which is unique. Yeah, yes, yeah, I agree. He could 1,000%. And he just had such a high IQ. One other stat that we haven't talked about, but we have to. He's a very interesting career. So he's a 25-year-old rookie, okay? Dude played till he was 43, so he had a career. He had an 18-year career.
Yeah,
he played till he was 43 years old.
And he only stopped playing because he broke his ankle in the playoffs against Portland.
So
I remember that year.
All right, Uriah, what stands out to you of all these stats?
I'm going to go back to his college years, to his Georgetown days where that transition, and we've covered players who have come to the States and, whether they played overseas or not, coming to a different country and assimilating. Look, back in the day, they didn't have Rosetta Stone. They didn't have Duolingo. So one of the things that I found out when I researched it is Alonzo Mourning, who played with Georgetown, he would actually get frustrated when John Thompson would get on him because Dikembe didn't know where he was supposed to be on the floor. And Dikembe just didn't speak the language. Alonzo Mourning was like, look, he doesn't understand what I'm saying. So I just love giving these players flowers for their journey, not just their accolades. And part of the journey is coming to an entire country and having to be convinced to participate in a sport that maybe you weren't that great at. Everyone around you is more coordinated, they're more skilled, but yet he stuck with it. And as a result, you heard the Hall of Fame speech. Very humble, did a lot of things with charity and philanthropy. So you have to give props to Dikembe for being not just a great defensive player, but just being a great human being.
Absolutely.
That's the craziest thing, that he didn't start playing until his early 20s. It's just wild. Like we like to we like to romanticize like Giannis, Joel, players like that, but early 20s, it's nuts.
Yeah.
To be then a couple years later being the 4th pick. Maurice, what about you? What stands out?
And also to consistently be surrounded by players who were better than you and you still rise above that, from college with Mourning to being in the league in the 90s when the centers were dominant and still making your mark, having to tie the record for 4th most in Defensive Player of the Year awards. Listen, man, there's nothing to sneeze at. I don't know where you would put him defensively all time, but he's in that Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
He won Defensive Player of the Year awards against guys like Ben Wallace and Ron Artest, guys we've talked about on this podcast before. Great players, Hall of Fame players. So kudos to Dikembe because he had an amazing career. We know this because we've seen it. And when we talk about the great All-Star games, we talk about the 2001 All-Star game. And that was the game that, the East came back and beat the West. And Dikembe had a huge impact on that game. Anybody who watched that game. And that actually convinced Larry Brown, wow, we got to trade for this guy. We got to trade for Mutombo. He could be the difference maker. And they traded a guy who, Theo Ratliff, he had a great season, but not a great career. But he was a difference maker for that Sixers team, and I will get into that shortly. them getting to the NBA Finals that season.
No, great takes, guys. So one other thing, this is going to kind of segue into Maurice's bit, but he always played on winning teams. Kind of both guys have. So clearly they're playing winning basketball, and he's played with some really amazing players. But yeah, I would just say I think he was always on like playoff teams. So throughout his entire career. So
defense equates to winning. Now, the old saying that defense wins championships. I don't know about that one.
With that said, on the teams, I'm going to tip the rebound to Maurice. Maurice, what teammates has Gobert played with that are really good?
I'm in the post. I'm ready for the hook. I got all the information for you.
Fourth quarter, teammates.
Yeah, how excited were you when you got Rudy? You heard the news, and then also, did you have a relationship with him before, or did y'all talk during the offseason? Just talk about that process for us.
We didn't talk at all. The funny thing about it is I was asleep. I had just came from the gym, and I took a nap, and Kat might have called me like 10 times. And when I wake up, I call Kat like, bro, what do you want, bro? Like, and he was like, man, you ain't see what just happened? I'm like, no. He like, man, we just traded for Rudy. I'm like, man, that's crazy. So it was pretty impressive because we immediately started talking about D'Lo and how it would help D'Lo for sure and help us. Like, maybe we get beat a couple times. We ain't got to worry about Finchy getting super mad because we got somebody to protect the paint.
So let's talk about Rudy Gobert, drafted in the first round, 27th pick in the 2013 NBA draft by the Denver Nuggets, as we stated earlier. What could have been with those two, Rudy and Jokic. But on draft night, he was traded to the Utah Jazz. I'm going to start with his rookie season with the Utah Jazz. And from there, I'm going to go to their best season statistically, standing-wise, which was also the 2020-2021 year. All right, so the 2013-2014 team, his teammates were, this might be a blast in the past, this was 10 years ago, Trey Burke, Alec Burks, Jeremy Evans, Derek Favors, Gordon Hayward, Jamal Tinsley, and ESPN commentator, who does a good job, Richard Jefferson.
Wait a second, Jamal Tinsley. That is a name that I have not heard in a while.
Oh, yeah.
Iowa State.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Marvin Williams was also on that team, too, from UNC. That. Yeah. And Enes Kanter, now known as Enes Freedom.
Yeah. So,
I do this with everybody, so I'm going to do it again. Who won the most games with Rudy Gobert in his whole career? I'm going to go with Lucas first because I think Lucas might have
the
this
easy answer feels like Donovan Mitchell, but I don't know if that's right. I feel like that's too easy.
Mm-hmm.
No,
is that your final answer?
I don't know. That's why I said it feels too easy. You're trying to trick me.
Not.
I'll come back to you.
I want to hear some other people's stuff.
You're right.
I was going to get to the point. I'm going to say Donovan Mitchell.
Ben?
I don't think it's Mitchell because he wasn't a rookie till the 17-18 season. I'm going to say Royce O'Neal, right? Just because I think he played longer.
Interesting. All right, Lucas.
Is it Gordon Hayward? Yes.
Is that your final answer?
Gordon Hayward.
All right. Get this, 345 wins.
Whoa.
The player is Joe Ingles.
No.
Wow.
I didn't think he played that many games.
That's a lot of wins.
I was like,
that's a lot of wins.
Mitchell. I was like, it's probably a role player, but I can't think of one. Joe Ingles.
They played 579 games together.
What year did Joe Ingles come to the NBA? I guess it was like 2014, wasn't it?
2014, yes. 2014.
I wonder if Jazz doesn't even know that.
I knew it wasn't Mitchell because Mitchell. Once I saw Gobert came in the league in 2013, I knew it wasn't him. So there's going to be someone we didn't know.
Number 2 was Derek Favors. Number 3 was Royce O'Neal. And number 4 was Donovan Mitchell. All right, so let's move on to the 2020-2021 Utah Jazz team. They won 52 games. This was Rudy Gobert's best season. His teammates were Bojanovic. Hopefully I said that right. Bojan. So that's the one who's currently on the Atlanta Hawks.
Bogdanovic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the
J sounds like an H.
That always trips me out. Mike Conley, Derek Favors, as I mentioned earlier. Ersan Ilyasova, Joe Ingles, Donovan Mitchell, everybody's favorite minivan, George Niang, Royce O'Neal, and another player we've highlighted on this podcast, Jordan Clarkson. That was a pretty good team.
Yeah.
Besides Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, who was the most impactful player on that team? So let me start with Uriah.
Thank you. I was hoping I can go first because I know Lucas is going to steal my answer. I'm going to go with...
No, I'm actually debating this in my head right now. I haven't decided on somebody yet.
All right. But yeah, Mike Conley, he is a stabilizing force anywhere he goes. He is the ultimate floor general. He can shoot. He's a phenomenal passer. I think he exercises a lot of patience, which, your average scoring point guard just wants to get to the rack and make something happen. I think Conley's patience helped Gobert in a lot of situations, particularly with the lobs, because I think someone stated earlier that he's a primary scorer when it comes to catching lobs. So I am going to go with
That's a really good one.
They were the number 1 seed in the Western Conference that season, but they lost to the second round to the Clippers.
I guess Jordan Clarkson, because he won Sixth Man of the Year, right?
Yes.
Yeah. He was really, this guy could get a bucket, and he was really cool to watch. So,
well, then I will go with Bojan Bogdanovic because he is a bucket getter, and more importantly, he was the de facto floor spacer for that team. And he can carry an offense for a short amount of time, too. So I'm going to go with him. Because you could argue he was the third best offensive player on that team.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Yeah, I was going to mention Jordan Clarkson as well. I mean, we've highlighted him, so we know. But I do remember from that series, the playoffs run altogether, that he was a immediate bucket getter in the same sense like a Lou Williams or a lot of those six man guys who could just come in and an offense is on a lull. It's been a little cold streak, and he'll come in and really change the tide for them. All right, so let's move on to the current team that Rudy Gobert is on, and that's the Minnesota Timberwolves. He was traded in, I guess we would call it a blockbuster trade that kind of changed the course of trades going forward. But Rudy Gobert, he was traded for 4 first-round picks and a pick swap and some players. That's a lot. That's
a hell of a lot.
That's a package, if I say so myself.
Yeah, it's interesting thinking back to that trade, not to go into it, but yeah, it is kind of what we said. It's if you believe in that, if that player is winning, that those picks aren't going to be that good. So I get that it's a lot of picks, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, Rudy Gobert going to the Timberwolves changed their trajectory. Him and Anthony Edwards. I mean, Anthony Edwards is a superstar player, top 10, top 15 player. He's amazing. So let's look at their current team, who, as of right now, at the current recording, they are 51-22. Exceeded expectations this season for them. They look great. So some of their players are, like I mentioned, Anthony Edwards. A lot of guys who help each other. This is great roster construction. Neil Alexander-Walker, Kyle Anderson. Once again, Mike Conley is on the team. Karl Anthony Towns, Monte Morris, and they just picked up T.J. Warren with Rudy Gobert. So, on this current Minnesota Timberwolves team, who do you guys think is the most underrated player? Let me start with Ben.
I'm going to say McDaniels. I think he is switchable. They're obviously a defensive-minded team. But I just think this team is one offensive piece away. It's way too much pressure on Anthony Edwards. So I do think, as good as they are in the regular season, this current roster, they need some more offensive help.
Right.
I know he's not underrated because he's an all-star, but in terms of them taking their postseason hopes to the next level and achieving success, I'm going to go with Cat. And I'm not a big Cat fan. I've never been a big fan of his game.
He's been all NBA and all star in the past.
All right, here's why I say that, Lucas, because Anthony Edwards is now being mentioned in the same conversation as Michael Jordan. And yes, when you look at that team's success, people are going to go, Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man, he's the star, he's dynamic, he can do so much with the basketball. My point is you can't overlook the value of Cat because of what he can do, bringing the ball, stretching the floor, shooting
spacing,
a three.
yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Like, I see what you're saying. He's an all-star. How can he be underrated?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm going to go with Nickeil Alexander-Walker, cousin of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And the reason why is because it's not so much what he does offensively, because he's like hit or miss offensively. But this year, defensively, he has become such a lockdown defender that honestly, he's on the same level as a defensive stalwart coming off the bench as like Matisse Thybulle was for the Sixers a couple years ago. Like, he is that good. And like, he wasn't known for defense coming out of college, but working with Chris Finch, he's become one of the lockdown defenders. And honestly, and he's 6'7" as a guard. He's like, and if he can get his scoring back on track, like, he could be a real asset for them down the road. He still has to figure out the scoring stuff a little bit, but defensively, he is an unsung hero. I mean, shout out to Kyle Anderson as well, but I'm going to go with Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
That's a good one. That's a really good take.
And just to finish up on Gobert, this is a young team. To have that veteran point guard there, Mike Conley, that means
he's not underrated. He's not underrated.
Yeah. That's why they extended him. They gave him 2 more years on this deal.
It is interesting, Maurice, going through this, like the difference between his Utah team and the defense, man. All these, even Anthony Edwards is like an all-NBA defensive player.
Oh yeah.
So like he's really upgraded this squad. I mean, obviously there's some weaknesses in the offense.
He was expected to be the whole entire
Minnesota's
defense. Now he's just a part of it here.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
They were rolling like Clarkson and Donovan Mitchell out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's like no defense. So
and now Mike Conley is the weak defensive player.
No, it was Bogdanovich. Bogdanovich actually was decent back then.
I agree to disagree on that one.
All right, move on. Let's move on.
Oh, in the league? Since you've been in the league? No, you know I got it. No. Been in the league.
Mike, come on, man.
You can't
Big for it, you haven't got me yet.
Huh?
Mike,
don't even try it.
You want me to go call Scotty?
You have to call Scotty.
Boy.
What you call Scotty for? I haven't got you recently. Yeah, I agree with that.
No, you haven't got me in 6 years. 1, 2, 3, just go ahead and say it. You can't take the camera off because he doesn't want it to be in the camera.
I want you to listen to this and go back in the archives and get it. And show it up.
No.
Never.
He said, I'll get you one day.
No. He never dunked on you. He never put you on the highlight.
No. He said, I would love to give you my poster, but it's not happening.
It's not going to happen. You know he's lying. It's never going to happen. Come on, man. All right, we're going to cancel your green.
Boy, who gets Scotty, man?
All right, so obviously he was talking to Michael Jordan. I think he did get Mutombo.
He did. At one point, yeah.
He definitely did dunk on Mutombo with the Bulls and gave him a little finger wag. I do remember that. He did. All right, so let's move on to Dikembe Mutombo, drafted in the 1991 NBA draft by Denver Nuggets with the number 4 pick. I'm going to skip ahead a couple years because that Nuggets team he was on was really bad. So I'm going to go to the 93-94 team. That was the team that upset the number 1 Seattle Supersonics. And we remember that moment of Mutombo on the floor holding a basketball like it was the greatest moment of his entire life. It was a great clip. So let me start with that team. Some of his teammates were LaFonso Ellis, Robert Pack, Rodney Rogers, Reggie Williams, and Maud Abdul-Rauf, who used to be known as Chris Jackson. Very underrated player. Underrated player. He was a great shooter for his time. Before I ask the question, and I think this one is a little easier. Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf had the most wins with Dikembe Mutombo. I'm going to say that. But over-under, I'm going to throw over-under out there. 160 wins they had together. That's a lot, actually. They played, just for context, they played 375 games together. Everybody's looking up at me.
We're calculating right now.
So I'm going to go with the one that's not pondering. Ben, Over under 160 wins.
I feel like it's going to be 3 seasons.
They played 5 seasons together.
I'm going to say over. That's only like 3 seasons. Yeah, I'm going to say over.
You all right?
I'm going to go over.
I'm going to go under.
Lucas?
You said that the first couple years that he played in Denver, they were awful. So I'm going to go with that, under.
Yes. Well, Lucas, you are wrong. It was 162.
Barely wrong.
Yeah, I mean, for 5 seasons, 162 wins is kind of on the low side. Number 2 was Reggie Williams. Number 3 wins with Dikembe Mutombo was actually Tracy McGrady.
He played 4 seasons.
148.
He played 4
when he was in Houston,
he played
right?
4
Yeah, it was Houston, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with
Cool.
Houston.
Yeah.
So we move on, and we're going to talk about the 1996-1997 Atlanta Hawks team. They won 56 games. They were second in the Central Division. I'm going to assume number 1 team was Chicago Bulls. So here are some of the teammates from that Hawks team. Mookie Blaylock. Christian Laettner. He just pops up everywhere.
Okay.
Wow.
And Steve Smith, who was also drafted in the 91 draft. Let me ask you guys this. Now, I know Lucas probably doesn't remember much about that team, but what do you guys think was the most important player Dikembe's played with so far in his career?
So we're talking about the most important player up to this point
Yes.
between Denver and Atlanta?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the 2 teams
In
he
that
played with.
case, I'm going to go with Wow, Stacey Augmon wasn't on any of those teams with Atlanta? All right. If that's the case.
No. So Mutombo got there in 90. That first year he was there. They won. So that was 96, 97.
Okay.
Augmon was on the 95, 96 team.
Okay. All right.
So-
I'm going to steal Ben's thunder. I'm going to say Steve Smith. I didn't even remember that he was on that team, but Steve Smith was an all-star, outstanding player. He's the guy that would have to guard Michael Jordan one-on-one in those playoff series. So I'll go with Steve Smith. Sorry, Ben.
No, I thought of another player. I didn't realize he had a resurgence after, but he played with a couple All-Stars on that team. Christian Laettner was an All-Star in 97. The year.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I remember like that was his kind of
1 year wonder.
Yeah, I wouldn't say 1 year. I mean, he was legit. Yeah, that and Maurice, I forgot they won 56 games that year.
The year Mutombo got there, they won 56 games.
And they made the second round.
Just like Rudy.
And that was, I think they lost to the Bulls. I remember.
Yeah.
And what Uriah said, I remember Steve Smith doing a decent job of defending Jordan, as decent as you could do. But yeah, they had technically had 2 All-Stars outside of Mutombo on that team, but Christian Laettner, I remember when people thought he was a bust up until that point, and that was a really good year for him. So
let's move on. And I didn't highlight LaFonso Ellis, who he also played with later on during the Hawks tenure. Jason Terry, Isaiah Ryder, some other guys that came on after that. And he was also traded to the Sixers, like I mentioned earlier, where they went to the NBA Finals. Got dominated by Shaq.
Yeah.
It was a domination, but that was prime Shaq, so who could stop him, right? On that team, he had Iverson and Aaron McKee, Georgia Lynch, Tyrone Hill. So let me move on, and let me finish this with the last team he was on, because he had some good players on that team, and that was the Houston Rockets. Let me rattle off some names for you. And let me start with this guy, since Lucas loves his Barrys.
Hey, let's
Brett Barry was on that team.
Let's go.
Yes, he was.
Wow.
Brett Barry was on that Rockets team.
dunk champ, Brett Barry?
I think so.
Was he the dunk champ?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
With the Clippers, he was dunk champ.
I remember
Rayford Alston.
Oh, skip
You guys know his nickname?
Skip to Malou.
Yeah. Shane Battier. I think we mentioned him before. Luther Head.
Mm-hmm.
Carl Landry. Kyle Lowry. Meta World Peace. Well, I think that time was Ron Artest.
Yeah, that was his last season there.
This was a good team, man.
Yeah.
He's got some Hall of Famers on that squad.
And I didn't mention the best two. Yao Ming and Tracy
And the only reason why they didn't go deep in the playoffs is because
Mutombo played with some.
he was the backup
players.
He might not have even. No, he wasn't even the primary backup. Carl Landry was the primary backup. And then Yao got injured at the end of the season with that broken foot, which I think ended his career. And then Mutombo was playing for him in the playoffs, and he broke his ankle against Portland. And that was actually pretty. That was pretty harsh seeing him on the floor at that point at like 42. But he was putting up. If he would have stayed healthy, they probably would have made a deep playoff run.
How many Hall of Famers did Dikembe Mutombo play with in his career?
Ben's eyes are like...
Yeah, he's played with a good amount of Hall of Famers. Your number might be off a bit if you don't really think about it. I'm going to start with the person who, let me say, who's ready. Lucas is still counting. You're right. Let me go.
Does college count? Does college count?
No, just NBA.
I'm going to go Hall of Fame players. I'm going to go with 5 Hall of Fame players.
Ben?
I'm going to list them off.
No, you can't, because then you're going to help Lucas. No, you got to just say the number and then we'll list them all together.
I'm gonna say more. I'm gonna say more because some of the players he's played with are really good in college. So I'm gonna say 6.
Wait, this includes college?
Include college.
Oh, it does not include college.
Hall of Fame though, but some of the players he played with the NBA are gonna make the Hall of Fame because of their college career.
Are we counting that, Maurice?
No, it is. JJ Redick's going to make the Hall of Fame.
College
JJ Redick
counts.
But he played with
JJ Redick will probably make the NBA Hall of Fame.
Okay. Oh, all right. Let me moderate this.
Basketball Hall of Fame.
For this exercise, let's just do NBA. The teams he's played for, NBA career.
Well, no, I mean
NBA players that played with Dikembe Mutombo.
Yes.
That are in the Hall of Fame now.
Yes.
Okay.
Current. Yes.
All right. I'll stick with 5. Ben goes 6.
6. Yeah.
Lucas?
I'm going to agree with Uriah. I think it's 5.
Yep. Lucas,
it's 5?
You're right.
Okay.
You're
Can
right. It's 5.
I list them, see if I got them right?
Can you name them?
Go ahead.
Why don't we go back and forth? Like
Christian
Lucas
Laettner
says
was
one,
the
Ben says one. I'll say
sleeper.
All right, Lucas.
Okay.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Oh, okay.
Because he's on the dream team.
Okay.
That's who I thought. You're right.
He went in on the dream team. Yeah.
All right, Ben, who you got?
I'm going to Iverson, obviously.
Yao Ming.
Tracy McGrady.
Yeah.
Jason Kidd.
Yeah.
Yep. That Rockets team, they could have done more. Yao was hurt. Yao was, he had foot injuries, foot problems in his career, basically. What if, they could have had the Twin Towers there, but, With that said, though, Dikembe Mutombo played until he was 42 years old. You couldn't have asked any more from a player. He gave it his all. Hall of Fame career. Dominant, impactful defensive players ever. So that's why we're doing this comparison right now. So, great career. Now that you have the facts on Rudy Gobert and Dikembe Mutombo, it's time for you to make your case.
We'll see you on your favorite social media platform, ready to check out your takes. Chime in on our Instagram at NBA_NowAndThen_pod, on Twitter at NBA_NowAndThen, and on our YouTube page, NBA Now and Then.
Okay, guys, this has been NBA Now and Then, the greatest comparisons. Peace.
See ya. Have a good one.
Later.
All right, we just spent almost 3 hours talking about Rudy Gobert.
No. I'm not apologizing.
I think our chemistry has grown. And we're having fun.
Yeah, and it's 90s hoops and 2000s hoops. We really nerd out over it. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.